Hey there, Vanagon Addicts. It's Ken Wilford here at Van again. I just wanted to share with you guys a new project I'm going to be working on this week. It is a 2009 Volkswagen Tiguan. Okay. This is a car that my daughter and her husband bought probably about 4 months ago. They bought it at a local car lot. You can see it has the 4Motion. Okay, it's a 2.0 liter turbo, which that's pretty much the entire drivetrain description of these, as far as the 2.0 turbo is the only engine they used in these in the US, as far as I know, during this time frame. So you can see it's a really nice looking car on the outside. It's a really nice looking car on the inside. Okay, we've got a nice cloth interior. It has this big, huge sunroof, which takes up the entire roof. It has lots of nice room in here, which is surprising since the car seems not that big. But you've actually got like plenty of room, even in the back seat. You've got a lot of leg room back here for such a small car. And I was very impressed by it when we went to go look at it. I have very little knowledge of these. So you got a nice little area here for your groceries and stuff. I have very little knowledge of these, like pretty much zero knowledge of these. Okay, so I wanted to kind of bring you guys along on this journey here. So what's going on with this car? So this car only has 86,153 miles. Okay, when we bought it, or when they bought it, they brought me along with them to look it over. I really hadn't had time to do any research on these and know what was going on with them. But I thought, hey, 80-something thousand miles, right? What could possibly be wrong with it? Okay. Never say that. Okay? That is not a good attitude to have with these, apparently. So we've got this turbo engine. It's called a CCTA. I have no clue what that means, but I will find out and tell you later. And so just looking at it, I mean, took me to look at it. I looked at the engine. Looks fine to me. Didn't really see anything, really crazy going on. But again, with these newer Volkswagens, you have these covers that are covering up things. It's really hard to see anything. Okay, even if, it kind of looks like there's room to do things and see things in here. It's not a big engine. It's not like, totally taking up every inch of space in the engine bay. But at the same time, there's no real way to see anything. So they started having an issue with coolant. Coolant was disappearing. Okay, and I'm like, well, that's weird. So we went ahead and tried to use some stop leak. Did not work. Okay, they just kept adding coolant, adding coolant, adding coolant. So I called the local dealer. 86,000 miles. I thought maybe it would have some kind of warranty left on it. So I called one dealer down in Salem, which is Salem Volkswagen. Gave them the VIN. They said, this car has a warranty on it until 5/22. Okay, so I'm like, wow, that's good, because that's a whole year from now. We can take it in, and if there's a problem, they'll deal with it. So my daughter decided that there's two dealerships. They're both about the same distance. One is Salem Volkswagen. One is up in Turnersville. She decided to take it to that one because it was more fancy. So they took it up to the Turnersville Volkswagen, and it's called Prestige Volkswagen. And the guy looked it up in the system. Again, same exact system as the other lady. He's like, oh, yeah, the warranty is over. And so I'm like, why is the warranty over? Like, oh, well, the warranty expired 5/22 of 2019. Okay. So in other words, the 5/22 the lady was looking at was the date. It wasn't the year. So anyway, the warranty's over on an 86,000 mile car, even because it's over 10 years old. And the sad part is, so they got a diagnostic done, $120-something for a diagnostic. And And the amount of work that they're saying this car needs is going to be $8,000. Now, this car, I think they paid $6,500 for the car. Okay, so $8,000 worth of work. What, you can say, what could possibly be wrong with this car? 86,000 miles, right? What could possibly be wrong? Let me start it up, and you can hear it run while we're chatting here. You can see what it's like. That way, because it doesn't sound like most VWs that I've ever owned, but it's not in a bad way. Okay, so I'll crank it up here. You can see the interior is nice. It has a little thing on the dash here for showing your doors are open, showing you this and that. It's very quiet vehicle to ride in. Very, very quiet. Not so quiet under the hood. Okay, you can hear all that noise. That's normal. Okay, these have like a direct injection system. It makes a lot more noise than the older style systems made. And that would be scary if you didn't know that it's actually not supposed to, it's supposed to actually be normal. They've got a lot of sound deadening and things under the hood to block the noise. When you're driving the car, when you're running the car, you don't really hear it, okay? So, and as far as the power and stuff of the car goes, I mean, it has the 4Motion, which is like a full-time all-wheel drive electronic all-wheel drive system. The car has plenty of power. You can really feel it when you're stepping on it. And the 4Motion just makes it grip the road. And, you know, it just feels like a really nice put together vehicle. So what happened on this car? Well, there is this weird problem that these have, which starts up here on the top under this cover. There is I'll take this wonderful cover off because this is really what hides all the problems and issues. So now that you take that off, you can see what's going on. Oil, right, is everywhere on top of this valve cover, running down the front of the motor here. I'm sure it's running down the back edge of the motor. It's running everywhere. And so what happens on these, crankcase ventilation fails. Okay, now I haven't confirmed that happened yet, but this is what normally happens. This fails, pressurizes the crankcase, then it starts pushing oil out from every place you can imagine. It runs down, it hits anything plastic. So this is a plastic intake. Okay, right now we're not having a problem with this, but these fail a lot. Then below this, right here in this area, we cannot see it, access it, get to it in any way, shape, or form, is a plastic water pump. Okay, so the entire housing of the water pump is also plastic. So this oil is going down, hitting these plastic items, making them brittle, making them crack, hitting rubber seals, making them expand, making them leak. And it's just kind of like one of those snowball effects. This one thing fails, causes this to fail, the water pump to fail, the other seals to fail, pushes out, you know, between the flywheel and the rear main seal, causes that to fail. And it's very sad to me. You know, if this was a normal person who didn't have any mechanical skills, right, what would they do? They would go to the dealers, they would get this, you know, thing after they just ran out of their warranty period, and they would turn around and trade the car in because the car is going to cost $8,000 to fix. It's only worth $6,500, and so why bother? Okay, but the thing is, I really like this car. I think this car is worth saving and putting some time and effort into, and I like to learn things, so I'm going to learn some things on this car to how to work on these CCTAs. Am I going to start a new business that's focused on Tiguan's? Probably not, but I thought maybe you guys would be interested to see how Volkswagen has advanced in some ways since the Vanagon, and how they've sadly went in reverse in some ways. This whole situation could have easily been avoided if there was some type of sensor that would tell the computer, hey, you have like a positive crankcase pressure issue, replace the PCV valve. That would have stopped any of this from progressing. But instead, you just have to, like, I guess, pull this cover off, look under here occasionally, make sure, it's not getting oily. The other issue I'm seeing on this motor is this. This is the oil filter. The oil filter is upside down. It's directly over top of the serpentine belts. Okay. So, if you go to change your oil, I'm not sure how you prevent oil from getting onto the serpentine belts or serpentine belt when you're doing that. We put a new serpentine belt on because this is how we kind of came into this realization that something wasn't wrong. Besides the water level going down, the serpentine belt shredded, and it was because it was getting soaked with oil. So I had to do an emergency repair on that. Again, it looks like it's getting soaked with oil again, even after I cleaned all this stuff off the last time and did an emergency repair. I thought maybe, had gotten soaked on the last oil change, but that was probably wishful thinking. So one other item. So we had this PCV valve problem, oil leaking problem, and then also a problem with the timing chain. So the timing chain itself. So now we don't have a problem with that as far as this car, as far as I know. But, okay, these cars have a timing chain tensioner that fails. And it's a very common issue to the point where Volkswagen has revised the timing chain tensioner, I think, 2 times on this car. The latest version doesn't really look very much like the original version because everything can be fine. Everything's running good. Everything's working properly. And then out of the blue, timing chain can jump time, destroy the cylinder head, destroy the pistons, all that kind of stuff. And so the repair for that is to preemptively, go in here, pull all the timing chain covers off, which is all under this area, and put a new tensioner in, the new style tensioner. So again, as I'm going to have this car mostly ripped apart, I'm probably going to also attempt to do that as well. And so all of this, so you say, all right, well, I have a more modern Volkswagen. I want to do some repairs on it. What's your reference stuff look like? So I'm going to kind of go into that also as we go through this. Bentley has a DVD-ROM manual only. That's all I could find, so no paper manual. A DVD-ROM manual. There's also another company I've used in the past called All Data, which is an online service. You subscribe to it for a year, for a month, to get the information you need. I think I'm going to subscribe to the All Data. The problem I have with the DVD-ROM, I bought some Volkswagen CD-ROMs, not Volkswagen, Bentley CD-ROMs back in the 90s and the early aughts, and they stink. Okay, they stink. I'm not really into them. The problem with them is, number one, for me right now, I have to have a computer that has a DVD-ROM drive that is handy to where I'm going to be working on the car. I don't actually have that. So I have 2 nice laptops. Neither one has DVD-ROM drives. Why not? Because DVD-ROM drives is the past, right? Who uses that, right, in a laptop? A lot of laptops you have are Chromebooks, or they're super thin, super small, perfect for portability using on a car environment, but they don't have DVD drives. So, yeah. So the All Data, I'm going to try that instead. I can do that for a month for $20, whereas I think the Bentley manual is over $100 for that. And if I like it, I can subscribe for a year for $50-something. I'm hoping this project isn't going to take a year. I'm hoping it might take a week or 2 weeks or something and be done with it. But you know, this is what we're doing here. We're trying to learn some things as we go along. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I've watched some YouTube videos on it. There's a guy, the Humble Mechanic, right? He's an expert. He's worked on these a lot of times. I was kind of hoping this project was going to get done at the dealership under warranty, but now they have noped us on this. I really feel like Volkswagen should actually do this repair because this is an 80-something thousand mile motor. Motor has no time on it whatsoever. Why would you expect it to need $8,000 worth of repairs? Okay, but anyway, I mean, it's a 2009, right? You should just trade it in and get a nice, you know, Atlas or even a 2021 Tiguan. Okay. The problem with the Tiguan is they use this engine a lot, many model years. They never really fixed these issues as far as I know. Like each version as it went through had its own issues that, you know, were all just about as the same type of nonsense as this. You have a really nice motor, really well engineered motor, I feel like, that is hampered by stupid stuff, right? Stupid things going on. Plastic intake. Why? Okay, plastic, these little, you know, I call them crazy straws. Volkswagen's just in love with these crazy, silly straws for emissions things. Why? Right? Why? Those things suck. They don't hold up. Like 10 years, all this wonderful plastic starts going bye-bye. So we'll see what we can figure out on this thing. I'll bring you guys along if you care. If you like this video, please like it. Tell me, hey, I want to see more. If you hate it, say I hate it. Don't show me no more. I don't care about Tiguans. I only care about Vanagons. I understand, okay? But I'm interested in this project, so I thought you might be. All right, that's it, guys. We'll see you guys on the next video.